Greetings, best of Trekkers! One of Trek's underutilized main characters, Tasha Yar, didn't even get a full season before being yeeted by the Exxon Valdez oil spill. So today, we're going to explore the question, what if Tasha Yar had survived?
Alternate Trek history.
The universe is as we know it up till the moment Tasha decided to defy Armus and rescue their crashed crew members. She still goes for it, and Armus still smacks her back, but Beverly Crusher looks less inept by waving a different light over Tasha, and giving her 10 cc's of whatever worked a minute ago to make her all better. In fact, Yar is back at her post by the end of the episode, with a plan to have Picard draw Armus away from the shuttle and then beam him up while simultaneously firing a photon torpedo, destroying Armus and saving Deanna Troi. During the events of Conspiracy, given the warning Picard is given by his old friend, I think Yar would have been a bit more cautious when the Admiral comes aboard, stationing herself and other security outside his quarters, breaking up one of Trek's most ridiculous fights as soon as it starts. She would also have had Riker keep an open comm, beaming down a full security team after he makes the deception known that he's not a bluegill. During the child, Yar would not have been as callous as Worf to suggest medical intervention in this immaculate conception, but may have suggested Troi give birth in a shuttlecraft to avoid an unknown complication from this unknown alien presence. In Where Silence Has Lease, I think real Tasha would have gone to Picard's quarters with the Nagilum aberrations of Data and Troi, letting Picard know that his decision to destroy all, rather than sacrifice some indiscriminately, was the right move. After Moriarty takes over the ship, I don't think Tasha would have allowed the program to remain in the Enterprise's computers, and insisted that it be removed to a separate holostorage unit. Going into negotiations in a war zone, Tasha would have insisted on doing scans and searches of all parties involved, thereby negating the loss of Riva's chorus, and allowing talks to proceed normally. When it comes to the Schizoid Man, Tasha literally knows Data intimately, and would have realized much sooner than it was revealed that something was very different with our favorite android, and brought it to the captain's attention to confront Graves. When Data's personhood is put on trial in Measure of a Man, Tasha speaks up for Data's ability to be more man than most will ever measure up to. When that bombshell drops, Captain Lavoie looks over at Picard, eyebrow raised, and declares that to be the absolute truth. After which, she immediately rules that Data has the rights of personhood. During the Royale, we get to see the first phaser set to overload in Star Trek. When they can't get out and can't normal phaser through the walls, Tasha decides to go big to blow a hole in the most cliché casino ever. It still does absolutely no good other than making the assistant manager annoyed at more than just the bellboy, but it was an attempt at something. Tasha sticks up for the voice in the darkness and pen pals because she knows what it's like to be a child on a planet in distress, desperately hoping someone will come to the rescue. Tasha does not for 1 minute believe that the Borg can be reasoned with in Q-Who, and continually urges a tactical solution over a diplomatic one. She insists in Samaritan Stare that she accompanied Geordi to the Pac-led ship. She ends up wide-field stunning the entire Pac-led bridge, including Geordi, when they try to detain them. But no hostage situation takes place. In peak performance, Tasha remains on the Enterprise for the war games, but did a better job overseeing the installation of the simulated weapons, and the ship is not left defenseless when the Ferengi come calling, chasing them off with a spread of photon torpedoes across their bow. Yar is just as upset about the death of Marla Astor as what we saw on screen with Worf, but is much more compassionate and sensitive to the needs of Jeremy. Speaking of Worf, where everyone else fails to move him to donate blood to the Romulan, it's Tasha that convinces him that abandoning the oath he took to Starfleet to help those in need should take precedent in his hierarchy of honor over his need for retribution over the Romulans. He ends up saving the first Romulan survivor of Glorndon Core just before he succumbs to his injuries. During the Vengeance Factor, Yar beams down with Riker and relieves him of the guilt from vaporizing Yuta by simply tackling her. Being present in the high ground, Tasha is able to stun the freedom fighters before they get a chance to grab the Doctor. It's not as big of a surprise to see Tasha at Tactical after the Enterprise C comes through the time shenanigan rift. While Guinan still convinces Picard that the timeline is messed up, she has nothing special to say to Yar in this universe, and she does not go back with the Enterprise C. Therefore, Scylla is never born. When Data creates Lal, he asks Yar to be her godmother and help shape her view of the world. When the Cascade failure takes Lal from us, it really hits Tasha in a place she herself didn't know she had. Having known Picard longer than anyone except for Beverly, Yar picks up on the fake Picard before anyone else is willing to make accusations, and is the first to bring her concerns to Riker, though it still plays out the same in the end. The tough-as-nails Tasha finds herself in Troy's office during the most toys. After recently losing Lal and then Data himself, she takes the loss harder than anyone on the crew, questioning whether she should have showed more affection over the years and not buried the love she had for Data. When he's found again, the last scene in the episode sees her asking him for a walk in the Arboretum. In the aftermath of the Borg attack on Earth, Tasha and Data go on a proper shore leave together during the events of Family. At the end, she declares him the most fully functional individual she's ever been with. The episode Legacy becomes a whole can of worms for Yar as the Enterprise goes back to her home planet Tarkana 4 to rescue the freighter Arcos, and her sister comes back into her life. She sticks up for Ishara throughout the episode, only to realize in the end that she's pulled the wool over her eyes, and she has to put her sister to rest. This weighs heavily on Tasha throughout the rest of the season. She becomes a small part of Data's letter to Bruce Maddox in Data's Day, as they have a lunch date and she tries to help him navigate the demands placed on him of being put in the middle of Keiko and Miles' wedding debacle. When taken to Sherwood Forest in Cupid, our favorite higher being thinks it's funny to put a strong woman into the role of Maid Marian's servant. When she tries to help Vosh escape, she's scheduled to have a head removal procedure done at the same time. During the drumhead, Tasha confronts Admiral Satie after summoning Picard and calls her out for exactly what she is, causing her to be relieved from duty till Picard himself gets the Admiral to take the bait, showing her witch hunt for what it was. In theory, becomes a very different episode. Data and Tasha are going through a rough patch, with all of Yar's insecurities and issues coming full circle. All while Data tries way too hard. While they don't break up, they decide by the end of the episode it might be best to put their relationship on hiatus for a while. Without Scylla, the Klingon Civil War doesn't materialize in quite the same way. While the Duras sisters are still connected with the Romulans don't take it quite as far, and completely stop their actions when the Federation becomes suspicious and starts looking into the connection between them and the Klingons, and the war is over in a matter of days with far fewer Klingon lives lost. During Disaster, Tasha is sealed in on the bridge and reluctantly agrees with Laren about separating the saucer. Yar is one of the last people to become addicted to the latest viral app in the game until it's forced upon her. She goes on the mission to Romulus with Picard and Data when Spock is spotted there. Without her alternate reality daughter hunting them, it goes fairly routinely. They're never captured, and without Scylla, the Romulans have no plan to invade Vulcan at this point. Data and Tasha's relationship is still set to complicated, as Timothy imprints on Data in hero worship, and he and Yar become temporary foster parents. This also fosters their own old feelings for each other, and they end up jointly adopting Timothy at the end of the episode. In Ethics, Worf asks Tasha instead of Riker to help him in his quest to end his suffering brought on by the blue styrofoam barrel. While she has an easier time understanding his request than Will did, her recent entry into motherhood gives her a new perspective that also sees her trying to bring Worf and Alexander closer together. In I, Borg, she is one of the many that's vehemently against bringing the Borg on board, but by the end comes to see him as an individual worthy of compassion. Yar goes in place of Riker on the mission to 19th century San Francisco, so a command officer remains on the ship. After getting her mass of hunky metal back with a 500-year-aged head, Tasha asks Data to marry her. This thankfully takes up half of the otherwise terrible episode Man of the People. Captain Picard presides over the ceremony in 10 Forward, and the two visit Risa for their honeymoon over the next 3 episodes. Tasha successfully fends off the Ferengian rascals, and they just have to deal with the technobabble of getting Starfleet's littlest crew back to the correct age. When Captain Jellicoe is given command of the Enterprise, Tasha is relieved of duty before Riker for standing up to Starfleet's sternest captain and trying to make him see his requests are unreasonable. Yar helps her android husband make sense of the dream imagery he sees in Birthright as he attains a new level of consciousness. Data asks her rather than Geordi to override holodeck safeties and descent, but she convinces him that if he felt something once, that more will come in time when he's ready. Having her ground him keeps Data from going with the Borg to his brother. Lore and his band of Borg become a minor threat, randomly attacking Federation and other targets for resources they require. When the Enterprise goes to Atreya 4, Data's android mom is very happy to find that he's found love in his life. During Parallels, Worf spends part of the episode in the universe we're used to seeing, where he's security chief after Tasha's death. During the events of Genesis, Yar starts turning into some type of cat, after which jokes about her and Spot are made for the rest of the season. Heading into the movies, Generations and First Contact probably play out largely the same. Yar probably would have gone with Data to study the Baku, though Picard and Worf still have to come shut him down through bad musical theater. The biggest difference, I think, comes in Nemesis. Data has something to live for in Yar, and Picard knows this, pinning the emergency transport module back on Data as quickly as he can. In this timeline, it's Picard that makes the ultimate sacrifice to save his friend. But all is not lost after Q steps in because of his particular fascination with Picard and gives him his life back after a personal lesson about what makes life worth living. Tasha Yar was a pivotal character that had a lot more to live for and could have made the galaxy a better place if she'd just been allowed to survive. In the comments, tell me your thoughts about how a universe with Tasha Yar would have played out. And if you enjoyed the content, please consider a like and subscribe. And until I see you again, live long and prosper.